It was common for the people of Adenkrom to observe silence at the break of dawn. The roosters were chirping, fishermen were ordering for their nets along the banks of the river, and the aroma of groundnut stew being cooked in clay pots filled the environment. But for a boy like Kofi, who was a teenager, these mornings were a time of anxiety. While his two siblings, the wise older sister Amma and the mischievous younger brother Kwame, got up with excitement to face the new day, Kofi dragged himself up with shame and embarrassment. Kneeling down on his wet mat, Kofi cried bitterly. He had done it again. He had wet his mat in his sleep. He did not understand why he could not control his body. It was as if every night some river inside him came boiling over and left a chill in the morning air. The secret was like a curse that was stuck to him like morning dew. In the dusty parts of Adenkrom, people were very keen on other people's business, especially the children. Kofi carried their taunts like any other burden he carried. The boys who were older than him mocked him at the communal well, with chants that went like Kofi River, while the girls gossiped behind the calabashes. The laughter sounded off, a mean rhythm that pounded in his head. Kofi's shame drove him to start avoiding social events and celebrations. He would seek refuge behind the gigantic tree every time people came together, fearing that he would only add more water to the well of gossips. But Kofi's mother, Aqua, was not your typical mother. She was a woman who had a kind heart and was a source of great wisdom to the people of the village. She had a voice as sweet as a lullaby, and her face was as strong as an ancient mahogany tree. One evening, as the beautiful sunset cast its rays on the village, Aqua found Kofi crouched behind their mud brick hut, tears tracking down his cheeks. She gathered him in her arms without a single word of judgment. "My son," she whispered, wiping his tears with her cloth, "every river, no matter how wild, finds its way to the great ocean. Your struggle is just a bend in your path. There were rumors in Adenkrom of a restless water spirit, the soul of a long-lost princess who sometimes dwelled in children's dreams. Some villagers believed that bedwetting was a sign the spirit had chosen the child as a messenger. To Kofi, though, these whispered tales which were meant to comfort him only brought further confusion and dread. Could a spirit really be haunting his nights? It is this legend that made Kofi tremble all the more. No matter how tall he grew, no matter how strong he became, each night felt like a battle with an invisible force he could neither see nor fend off. Aqua wasted no time in finding a solution for her son. She visited the wise village herbalist, who was said to speak to the forest spirits. He prescribed a tea of lemongrass, hibiscus, and moringa to calm Kofi's nerves at night. Aqua also set a strict routine: fewer sips of water after sundown, and a trip to the bathroom before bedtime. But stronger than any herbal medicine was her encouragement. Every night, Aqua reminded Kofi of his worth. She recounted stories of warriors who overcame monstrous odds. She reminded him of Queen Asantewa and the resilience of the golden stool. She promised him that a pure heart and a brave spirit would silence the mocking voices. Weeks later, the village was abuzz with excitement as the annual Moonlit Festival approached. Palm fronds and colorful kente cloths decorated the huts. The drummers had assembled around the fire at the center, the rhythm stirring the soul of every villager. Children ran around with painted faces, while the great storyteller of Adenkrom prepared to tell ancient tales. Kofi watched from a distance, still hesitant. His chest tightened at the thought of being ridiculed in such a big crowd. But Aqua took his hand, her soft smile beaming confidence. "My dear Kofi," she said, "come, let the music drown out your fears." That night, in the wake of merriment, Kofi slept deeply. He dreamed he was walking along a river that shimmered with moonlight. Water lapped at his toes, and then a glowing figure came out of the water, a tall spirit in clothes made of silver. Its voice was soft and powerful, as if it were faraway thunder. "Kofi," said the spirit, "you have borne me in ignorance. There are rivers inside you that are seeking their outlet, but you will now understand them, for the path of your mother's love has lit up. Fear no more." The spirit disappeared. At this, the waters began to recede, and he had both his feet on solid and dry ground. Morning broke with the song of the village roosters. A single ray of sun pierced the woven roof of their hut, warming Kofi's eyelids. He stared, hands running over his mat. It was dry. For the first time in years, he felt only fabric beneath him. A broad grin spread across his face, tears of relief welling up in his eyes. Bursting out of the hut, he found Aqua feeding the chickens. "Mama, it is dry, it is dry," he shouted, voice trembling with joy. Aqua caught him in a tight embrace, heart swelling with pride and gratitude. From that day onward, Kofi's confidence grew like a yam vine nourished by the rainy season. He joined his siblings at the well without shame. He helped harvest yam and cassava in the fields. And when the next moonlit festival arrived, Kofi offered to play the djembe, the heartbeat of West African rhythms. Under the silvery glow of the full moon, he pounded out a fierce, electrifying beat. Villagers danced in awe. The children who once teased him joined in the lively circle, forgetting old jests. The only rivers now were the joyful waves of music rolling through Adenkrom. In the following seasons, Kofi's story became a living legend among the villagers. The griot recited it alongside the epics of warrior queens and trickster spiders. The boy who once cried rivers eventually found peace in the tide of a mother's unwavering love. Wherever Kofi went in life, he carried that lesson within him. Struggle might be inevitable, but love was sure to calm the wildest waters. To Kofi and all others who listened to his story, this was proof that with patience, courage, and kindness from others, even the most courageous battles could be conquered.